8-1.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast. Sorry, Ty. I can't blame that on anybody but me. Bless his heart. I step on his toes and dance right over him. Slight chance of showers, high 61 today, tonight. 30% chance of showers overnight, low 50 tomorrow. Showers likely, high 68. And then on Friday, chance of showers in the afternoon, high 55. It is 46 at 8:11. I'm going to start getting excited about 8:11. That gives me two chances to get it every morning. 1580 103.3 WPKY.
On the hunt for a place to build a career? On March 19th and 26th, Bridgestone Metalfa would like to welcome you to visit their plant for an informational session. Learn more about Bridgestone Metalfa's company, culture, recruitment and application process, as well as their top-of-the-line benefits package. Sessions are Thursday, March 19th from 4 to 8 p.m. and Thursday, March 26th from 12 to 4 p.m. Come and find out why you should join the Metalfa team, located at 570 International Boulevard in Clarksville.
Christian Care Center of Catawba announces Jita Shabda, their new medical director, and that they now have on-site physician services specializing in internal medicine and pulmonary, Monday through Friday during regular business hours. Christian Care Center of Catawba is Joint Commission certification with 57 private rooms, all covered by private pay, insurance, Medicare, or Medicaid. They also have a designated area for smokers. It's the next best thing to home. Call Christian Care Center of Catawba, nurturing body, mind, and spirit.
Sound like.
Morning, Al.
Next stop, 32nd Street.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Hi, can I get an Egg McMuffin, please? Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
Nominate your basketball mom in the YourSportsEdge.com Sports Mom of the Month contest presented by Joelle's Bakery and Cafe, GNC of Hopkinsville, and Save More Drugs.
The 49th Annual Princeton Optimist Club Radio Auction is underway and can be heard nightly on WPKY 103.3 FM through this Friday. Stop by each night and view the items at the Butler Building, and bidding can take place on-site or over the phone. All the money goes to youth activities in Caldwell and Lyon counties, including scholarships. So be generous during the 49th Annual Princeton Optimist Club Radio Auction, continuing each night through Friday and heard on WPKY 103.3 FM, your hometown radio station.
Hey guys, Heidi with Capitol Cinemas, your local Princeton movie theater with your weekday lineup. In Cinema 1, Onward PG, shows Monday through Thursday at 6:30. It will move to Cinema 2 on Thursday for the opening of I Still Believe PG, shows Thursday at 6:30. In Cinema 2, The Invisible Man, shows Monday through Thursday at 6:30. In Cinema 3, Little Women PG, shows Monday and Wednesday at 6:30. In Sonic the Hedgehog PG, shows Tuesday at 6:30. Sonic ends Tuesday. Call during showtime hours at 270-365-0200 or visit us at capitalcinemas.net. Thanks for listening. See you at the show.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouthwatering desserts, sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
1580 103.3 WPKY. Ooh, that was a whole lot of me. WPKY. That's a pretty bad one. It's too much me for me.
How much caffeine have you had?
I'm just saying today. If it starts in a frantic way, it's like I just can't get out of it somehow.
I understand it.
But it's tool day, so I should take the opportunity to do that, and that would probably chill me out.
I've been accused of bouncing off walls myself.
Well, you know, a guy that might enjoy the tool day thing with us, because it's National, what is it? Something Tool Day.
Something about National Tool Day.
National Love Your Tool Day. Shane Bogel, I bet you have a tool at home that you like.
I got one or two.
What's your favorite tool at home that you got?
I guess a chainsaw.
We were just talking about that. Is it really?
Yeah.
I spend more time with the chainsaw in my hand than anything else. So.
I'm surprised you hadn't seen that little one. Now I'm going to have to show it to everybody.
Do you relax out there when you're using it?
Well, you have to, because you said it yourself. It's a lot of responsibility to have a chainsaw, and you get your hat on, your hearing protection, and kind of shut out. It is kind of an outlet for me. It gets away from everything.
I think it is for a lot of us to get out there. And I said us, but I've had my share of chainsaws in my hand, but it's not my favorite thing. I can tell you that.
Well, I've sold a few loads of wood in my lifetime, besides having it for myself. So I've chainsaw quite a bit.
It's not an easy thing, but man, it is really one of those that, I don't know, you get a lot of
satisfaction.
Satisfaction's a great word for it. I guarantee that. Well, and don't get me wrong, and when you're cutting the hay with the old sickle and you can watch it fall, that's like somehow mesmerizing to me when it's falling off the sickle. But there you go, Shane Bogel. What are you doing over there? What do we got going?
We've had a busy year, and it's still going. You're seeing things starting to green a little bit,
Yes.
some trees starting to bud, so things about to even get busier on the farmer side. But we still do have a couple of winter-type meetings to get over with before farmers get busy. And we've talked about these before. The CATS schools at the Research Center, the Kentucky Agriculture Training School, will have one of their continuing sessions on March the 26th from 9 to 3. Sign up is at 8:30. And this, they're going to be talking about using drones on the farm for crop evaluations.
That's cool.
And then getting the most from your planter. If we don't plant the crop correctly, get our right seeding depth, seeding rate, our crops might not do exactly what we plan for them to do. So identifying improper planting settings by evidence in the field. So these CATS training schools are awesome. I wish I got to go to more of them, but those all-day deals, it's hard to be away for an entire day. But our dealers, our farmers, agents come to these. They are great hands-on. You're outside all day in the field learning this stuff, not just in a classroom.
Yeah.
I'm the classroom type of guy. But these guys, this is our specialists. These are the ones that are writing the books on these proper techniques and proper procedures, and they will be there. Again, that's March the 26th. You need to register online. Pre-registration is required, and there is a fee of $105 for that, which includes lunch and a lot of take-home materials to help you get your planter ready, and some take-home information on using drones more in the agriculture setting. So CCA and CEU credits are pending, and pesticide credits are also pending. So if you need some of those pesticide hours, this is a good day to get that as well.
I'll say, I'm not good with the drone. I think a lot of us could really and truly benefit from a lot of that. The last time I did that, I got my son's drone stuck on top of the roof within 2 minutes flat. But those, I will tell you, there's some of them that I know in the area that are really doing a lot with that and kind of playing around with it. And it can be pretty handy. If you've got a lot of acreage that you want to put eyeballs on, that can be very handy.
One other meeting coming up that we do advertise, y'all help us with this, is the Caldwell County Agriculture Development Board is the group of farmers that are charged with the administration of our county Phase 1 dollars that comes to the county. We've talked about the CAPE program off and on here, but there is a board of local producers that helps decide whether that money does go to that program or goes to something else, and we have had a few different projects this year than normal. Usually all we see is the CAPE program come in, but we've talking about farmers markets. There's been an application submitted to them for the farmers market. We had one from the high school to get some technology and some new stuff for the ag department there at the high school. I think y'all already heard about that as well.
Fantastic,
so the county
by the way.
did put some of those funds toward that program to get that over the top, and they was excited to do that.
Well, and they utilized that instantly. It was as soon as it got there.
Yes, instantly, and then also they're going to make some money off of that. So getting those kids some hands-on training, some things that they can do, plus get some money into that ag program. They need all they can get, the traveling that they do, speaking contests and things. So I was glad that happens. So there is some. Well, we've had another application for this internet feasibility study that has been talked about. So some county buy-in is important to that. And on the 23rd of March at 6 o'clock at the Extension Office, the Ag Development Board, local Ag Development Board will meet to decide to contribute, whether or not to contribute to that feasibility study. And then there'll be another one later on in the spring, early summer, for our CAPE program. So some funds has already been allocated out this year, which is a little different than normal, but it's all going to good things. So again, 6 o'clock, that is an open meeting. Anybody's welcome to come and see what goes on in that board meeting. We very rarely do have anybody, but advertise that it is 6 o'clock on the 23rd of March. And then the last private pesticide applicator training of the year. I've had 5, Ty. So this is the last one.
I felt the
30
stingers like fly over the counter.
And there's probably a few out there that need to attend.
I'm sure there is.
Shane says we need to go to this.
March the 31st at 6 o'clock at the extension office. At 6 o'clock in the evening will be the last one of the season. So if you have not done that and need to, that's your last opportunity.
Well,
procrastinators beware.
And remind us again, Shane, because you think, okay, I can just go get anything and start spraying it, whether it's on my garden bushes or things that are starting to go. Remind us again about some of the things that if we're going to apply some of these chemicals, we need to have this training.
Well, all pesticides are regulated. Mm-hmm. The use of pesticides are regulated. The state of Kentucky takes a step even above what federal regulations are to ensure environmental safety and safety of the applicator. And these trainings are just that realization of what can happen, what you need to do. And if you're buying restricted use pesticide, which means it's just a little bit more dangerous to the operator, that you have to have this training.
I started to say you can't buy that without it.
To the store and purchase that. So there's a difference between the chemicals you see on the shelf at Walmart to the ones that you see on the shelf at Agrichem.
Yeah.
So come out on the 31st at 6 o'clock and get that training if you do need it. And a record-keeping component, if within 3 years they can come back if there is a problem from 3 years and make sure that your records are correct. Yeah. So all of that will be talked about in that meeting, and you'll walk out of there with the materials that you need to keep those records, that if there is a problem, they can trace it back.
Well, and to be honest, people say, well, why do I need to do that? I'm just spraying some fence rows. Well, you know what? I'm one of those people that like to procrastinate and don't go and do things as fast as I need to. But if you do overspray, and these chemicals change so much from year to year, and what's in these concentrates, if you don't keep up with it, the mix ratio could be different every year when you go buy a new bottle. So, if nothing else, go to the training. It's worth it, and it doesn't take that long.
That's right. And Ty, we're coming up on springtime, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the services that UK has. Besides calling and asking questions on gardening, we do have some services out here at the Research Center available that even us agents are using on a weekly basis, and that's our diagnostic services.
Yes.
Plant disease diagnostic services. So if we have a plant that's showing some symptoms of something that's a little wrong with it, we have a process that we can go through to find out what is wrong with that plant. But there is correct ways to do that, and with the addition and the changes that they made at the Research Center out here, there are some different protocols that have been implemented to ensure plant safety and not cross-contamination and having restricted entry to labs for contamination and just having folks around that don't really need to be where they don't need to be. And when we submit these specimens to that lab, if they're not packaged correctly, if they're not delivered correctly, we might not get the results that we need to come back. So thought I'd spend a little time the next couple of shows on all these different services that is right here in Princeton that we get quick results from that can help you make a decision on whether that tree is if it's
so it's
done.
Trees, not just plants.
It's all plants. Mm-hmm. All plants. Now, it is hard to get a full-size tree sample to the Research Center to find out what's wrong with it. But if you're going to package and bring a sample to me there at the office, wanted to go through a little bit of the procedures to do, because sometimes I go out, if I'm called, and look at it from the field, I take the sample myself. But for 2 to every one that I do that, there's 2 that comes in that somebody just brings to the office. And I've had everything from a tomato leaf to a full-size corn plant that wouldn't even fit through the front door of the office. So let's go through just a few things that are needed. And we have all this. We've got a nice publication that explains everything, plus bags and forms there at the Extension office that are available. So when you come in and bring something, you're there for a little while because we get about 4 pages worth of information. You just don't bring a plant in and set it there and say what's wrong with it. We have to know what's going on that entire site. So number one, what kind of plant is it? You will be surprised if a plant comes in and it has wilted, it's degraded some, or it was just plain old dead, and I don't even know what kind of plant it is. And I'm either having to call the person back and ask, say, well, what is this? Because there may be a certain variety of that plant that's had problems, and it's an easy answer. What is the age and the planting date of the plant? So a nursery plant may have been sitting in a pot for 2 years in transit before it was transplanted. So you've got all of these early years of its life somewhere else before it come to your place. We need to know that sort of thing. And what has been done to care for the plant? So a lot of times I hear, well, I fertilized it with triple 30 every year for the last 10 years. They're like, well, you might be over fertilizing it. So that's some of the things. And then a description of the symptoms, because you saw that plant as it was starting to go down in its health. I'm seeing it after it's either already dead or at the end of whatever cycle that it's in. So we're going to have a lot of information on what the symptoms were that led up to that.
That makes a lot of common sense, though, because that's what you do with the doctor at the same time.
And if that checklist that you're going through, we have a form that is just check it off. But if you don't have that form at home and you just come and drop it off, sometimes we've had them just left sitting on the outside door. There's a plant sitting there with a name on it, and you're like, well, then you got to call and get all this information. When did the symptoms first appear? Did they, was it gradually? Did it worsen over a long period of time, or did it just wham after that farmer sprayed that field? Did it go down? And were there affected plants? Where are the affected plants? Are they close to a landscape? Are they close to a farm field? Are they close to a house? There's so many factors that go into landscape plants, whether they like moisture, a lot of moisture, and you've planted it right under the gutter spout. We do see that.
Even a septic field. It could be close to a septic field.
Yes. And, when you go to collecting that sample, we need a whole plant for the most part, from the roots up. So dig those plants, get as much of that root ball packaged up as can be, because sometimes the problem is going on under the ground. Right. And if we don't have that, so that's unpractical with a large tree. But if it's a small plant, a tomato, a corn plant, something along those lines, it's easy to get that plant dug up. If only part of the plant is corrected, such as detached leaves or branches, we do get those, especially from larger trees like that. Describe the symptoms and the location of the planted affected plant parts clearly, and give us a couple of examples that this is a healthy section, this is a bad section, this is one that's in between, and include pictures if possible. That is becoming more and more a thing, and when I go, that's usually the first thing that I do is get a picture of the surroundings, get a picture of the slope, so I can see what environmental factors are going on. So if you can also bring those pictures, either, and transfer them from your phone to my phone, whatever, email them to us, whatever. And then choose several plants showing a range of the symptoms. Sometimes there's a progression of what's going on, and we see it starting over here, but it hasn't got over here yet, but here in the middle, it's starting to develop. That way we know what size of area we're dealing with, and to help make a spray decision or something that could cost quite a bit of money. And if we don't have to spray everything, or if we do need to spray everything, we think it's over here, but in about a week it's going to be over here too.
Well, it can be nitpicky too, where it's just a particular thing that it's missing, and you don't want to put everything on it, right?
And number one, don't expose samples to extreme heat or cold. So I have had some that stayed in a farmer's truck, for the whole day, during the day, before they brought it of the evening, and the hot sun can degrade that sample quite quickly. So don't leave that inside a vehicle, and don't bring them, if at all possible, on a Friday. They're going to sit in a lab or sit in a cooler somewhere waiting for the lab to open on Monday. It's better to bring those samples at the first of the week where they can be looked at quickly. So the longer that plant sits after it's been removed from its growing position, the quicker it's going to degrade, and we're going to get less information from it. And sometimes we do have to mail samples to Lexington. If our lab here is closed, we will definitely help with that, but there is definitely mailing throws you into an entirely different thing to get a sample from here to there and it still be in a good enough shape. Mail samples as early in the week, like we said, as possible, and so it doesn't remain at the post office all weekend and arrive in poor condition. Cushion fragile samples with newspaper and ship it in a very sturdy box. and wrap roots and soil in plastic bags to protect leaves from becoming contaminated. So you'll see a lot of people that have a wad of paper towels around the roots, around the plant, and bring it in, and they're wet. I don't know, it's just something around. I need to keep this plant moist. Well, never place moist paper towels in a box. It will hasten the sample's decay. So the more moisture it is, the quicker it's going to decay. If it's multiple samples being shipped, separate your corresponding a form from us. If you're mailing those, has to come with it. We can't just receive a plant in a box. If a plant in a box arrives at the lab at Princeton, it's discarded if it doesn't have this amount of information with it. So your extension office, wherever you're at, has those forms. You can also download them off the internet on the UK website, and there needs to be a form with every sample. So if you're submitting multiple samples, each individual thing needs its own form. And protect those forms by placing them in an envelope or a plastic bag in an envelope, preferably. That's going to keep that separated because that plant does have moisture, and we pull it out. We've pulled them out before, and they just come all to pieces. Yeah. So lots of things about submitting that sample. I love to get to go out and look at something like that, but there's some times that I can't if I'm too busy, and it's something that a farmer is needing or a landowner is needing a quick response on. The best thing they can do is bring the sample to me. We can get it out there, or my staff can get it out to the lab quickly if it's going to be 3 or 4 days. So this information, of course, is all on the UK website. We're going to spend some time next time on insect samples, because those are usually the most mishandled of all the samples that comes in. So we'll talk a little bit about that next time.
I didn't know about that. I'll be honest. Normally we think about soil testing and things like that. We don't think about that.
UK's got a wealth of information, a lot of folks and a lot of departments out there that help every aspect of agriculture in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, that is so cool, Shane. But I have enjoyed that this morning. That's awesome.
It's great information, and yes, we're totally blessed because we have an incredible resource right here in this county. This experiment farm that's here. A lot of smart, intelligent folks out there doing research that is important and has worldwide ramifications for agriculture, not just our area, but worldwide. And of course, with the new Seymour Milling Conference Center out there,
our beautiful, isn't it?
Forage Center of Excellence. It's just unbelievable. And what a resource that we have working in conjunction with our extension office. So thank you for this great information, and looking forward to what's upcoming as we head into the series.
One thing I'll add to that is it is better to come to the extension office with the sample than going directly there. We can get those forms filled out, help you to have them filled out correctly and drop them off for you, just because that is a busy place out there, and it is not as equipped to handle the public as our office is.
And that's kind of what you do.
That's exactly right. That's why there's a county office in every county in the state of Kentucky, is that first line to get those samples to where they need to be. We're just lucky that it's right here in our back door, 4 miles from my office to that office.
Well, it could save you having to replant fruit trees or, really, because some of those can be expensive to buy in the first place.
Sure.
So that's exciting. And remind us again about the pesticides.